Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the Pistons. Now, I know a lot of you just clicked off the video, but listen, the Pistons are a very important team to me, and, this is my channel, so we're going to talk about the Pistons, because there was a pretty interesting thing that happened the other night. Not only did they get the first overall pick, best odds, not confirmed yet, right? The best odds is in one pick, the worst record in the league. There was a letter put out by Troy Weaver. Now, this is very interesting because it's like, why would your GM put out a letter like this if he's not, retiring or something? The last time I've seen a letter like this was when the Knicks missed out on free agency and ended up with Julius Randle, which isn't that terrible looking back on it now. But, at the time it was, they were going to get Cade, Kyrie, and Zion, and they ended up with R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle and Evan Fournier, right? Which is a bit of a downgrade. Still three really good players, but, not exactly what you're looking for when you're the New York Knicks and, you deserve every free agent because you're from New York. But here's the letter from Troy Weaver we got. This is an open letter to the fans. When I made the decision to join the Detroit Pistons franchise in June of 2020, it was with great appreciation and understanding for what this organization means to the city, its fans, and all those who bleed red, white, and blue. I know the history, I know the tradition, I know the urgency to which our fans want us to win, to see us move back up the ladder of the NBA's hierarchy. Our focus is aligned with yours, and from the top down, we're committed to delivering on this restoration process for you. Rebuilding a team does not always follow a linear path, and we experienced that this year with the injury to Cade Cunningham that forced him to miss a majority of the season. While that injury impacted the continuity of our team, it also presented opportunity for growth from others. Overall, our players have overwhelmingly embraced the core principle of going to work and competing every night. We're in an excellent spot to upgrade our roster off after the season. We've positioned ourselves for another high draft choice in this year's draft. We have a favorable salary cap position and will continue to talk with teams to evaluate trade opportunities as they present themselves. Make no mistake, we are disappointed with our record this season, but we are confident that we can continue to be on the right path to success. We appreciate your patience, trust, loyal support as we continue this journey together. You deserve an opportunity to celebrate this team once again as a fixture among the NBA's best, as a bedrock of the city and its culture. We are partners with you in bringing and building greatness together. Troy Weaver. So, right? A very interesting statement. I think it's a pretty good one. I appreciate it. It's nice to know that he's like, hey, look, I know we suck, but, there's a little bit of injury, but we were able to see if some players were good or not. We can resign some other guys. We brought in We brought in James Wiseman. There's a lot of things going on. So it's not all doom and gloom. That being said, is it perfect? Absolutely not. We're banking and praying that we get Wembanyama. If we don't, it's going to be tough, right? Especially if you're not able to land Brandon Miller. If you can't get Brandon Miller, or Wembanyama, it's going to be real tough. Do I think the Pistons would trade up to go get Wembanyama if they had to? Absolutely. Do I think they would trade up to go get Brandon Miller if they had to? Absolutely. But this team really needs wings. Obviously, Wembanyama doesn't totally fit in this team, but who cares? You'll figure it out, right? The Pistons have a lot of centers, but again, you'll figure it out. Wembanyama probably doesn't even need a center in this league, as crazy as it is at 7'5", right? Porzingis is not really a center, right? Daniel Gafford plays a ton. But I just wanted to go down the line and just talk about the Pistons players and maybe give some quick feedback or player grades. So, Bojan Bogdanovic, I give him an A+. Now, he was a fourth string guy in Utah, kind of by fourth string, fourth option. Came in, I gave you 21 points a game. Probably shouldn't be on this team because he's too good. But in 32 minutes, 21 points, that's pretty darn good. Could I see him being a good complementary player this offseason and, help Wembanyama, hopefully, as a European player, adapt to the new league? Maybe. But also, you could probably fetch a pick or two for him. I would not be surprised if that happened. Up next, Cade Cunningham. Incomplete. You can't really give him a grade, but in his 33 minutes, he averaged 20 points, 6 boards, 6 assists. That's pretty good. Incomplete. I guess you'd give him a C on average, but I would just say null and void. 12 games. You can't really give him a grade. Jaden Ivey. If it was at the trade deadline, probably give him a C. But now, I would say B+, A-. He's really, really come on at the end of the year. The last few games especially. He had a 30-point game against the Rockets, I believe. But he's just been balling. And it's been great to see because he's taken it at people. And I was watching the Nets game the other night. He was just driving at Mikal Bridges, scoring on him like it was nothing. And that's a really good defender, a wing defender, bigger defender. And he's a point guard, so I just think there's really good signs there. Sadiq Bey is off this team. James Wiseman. Tough to do in 20 games, but he played pretty well. I'd say B+. I think that they could definitely invest in him going forward. If he gets his outside shot to work, we're in a totally different ball game. There was just sometimes out there he was kind of passive, a little but it's tough to adapt. Like he even said, this is his rookie season, is what he was saying. But, they won't agree with that on the paper or tape or anything. But I think, he's a young, raw player still. And I think there's a lot to get out of him. And I'm really excited for him going forward. A B+ might seem harsh to a lot of people, but I'm excited to see him going forward. Alec Burks. I'm surprised he's on this team as well. I would give him a solid B. Right? He came off the bench, gave some veteran presence, scored. He would do much better helping a real team win. Obviously, we're not even looking to win, but I just think that it's interesting he's still on the team. Marvin Bagley. So I don't know exactly what anyone really expected from Marvin Bagley. This is a little bit, I guess maybe a little bit less, but kind of what I was expecting from Marvin Bagley, so I'd give him B as well. If not like maybe a B, B-. It was really what I was expecting. We'll go with B-. 12 points, 6 boards. He was a good backup big that played starter minutes at sometimes. I think might be one of the odd men out with all of our bigs, especially if we get Wembanyama. But it was kind of a buy low trade, so you got back I think what you could put in, so kind of works for me. Isaiah Stewart. So the whole playing him as a power forward thing, I don't know if it really worked. I'm gonna go with C. I know it's one of the lowest grades I've given so far, but I just expected more from him, man. He gives a lot of hustle, a lot of effort. You put up stats, 8 and 11, 50 games. He missed a lot with a shoulder injury. Great for the culture. Love him on the team. I just think that maybe he's a backup big, maybe backup 4. Unfortunately, there's just so many bigs on this roster that someone's going to have to leave. And it's going to suck because I love this team and I love all these guys, but it's a business. Sorry. Up next, Killian Hayes. 74 games, 54 starts, 28 minutes, 9.9 points, 2.8 rebounds, 6.2 assists. Only 1 turnover. 2.3 turnovers. C+. It's just so tough with him, man, because you really want him to be good. He was the first draft pick from Troy Weaver. Oh, God. I don't know. He's so up and down. Is he gonna? I think he's got a really good ceiling as being a really good backup point guard, like a George Hill type. It's a good career. Is it what you want from pick 6 or pick 8, whatever he was? No, but it's just kind of where we're at. And I think that he could be a good backup point guard if we need him. Kind of take Corey Joseph's role, what it is now. Just kind of do that going forward. I don't know if he'll take that money if he's kind of realizing that's his ceiling in the league. But having another French guy would really help Wembanyama when he comes, hopefully. Speaking of French guys, Eugene Omowarie kind of came on. Hey, he played 20 minutes. He was hustling out there, doing a good time. I don't mind. I'd give him a B+. I know that might be crazy, but no one knew who he was. He came in at 97, made an impact. Everyone's like, who the hell is this 97 dude going nuts? That's enough for me. I don't know if he'll be back in the team, but again, another French guy. More French, Vive la France. The next 2 guys will go, I guess, a little bit quicker in. Hano Diallo, I give him a B+, A-. He was traded for Svi, I think a second-round pick, or we got a pick with him. No one expected anything from him. He's just an all-time hustle effort guy, and I love that. You're out here making a little career, 9 points off the bench in 17 minutes. It's very good. He had one of the highest field goal percentages out there because he doesn't really shoot. He just kind of finishes at the rim or he'll dunk or do something crazy. Great bench guy. Seems like a really good culture guy. Really like everything I see from him. He's one of my favorite Pistons. A-, yeah. Up next, Jalen Duren. 65 games, 29 starts, 9 points, 8.5 boards. Love Jalen Duren. A lot of hustle, a lot of effort, super young, super raw, but was able to capitalize on it. A- for me. I mean, he was unbelievable this year. I really liked everything I saw. Excited to go forward. RJ Hampton, I mean, I was very excited. I mean, I made a short on this channel about him coming. I was super excited to see him on the roster, see how he did. He's just not the guy I thought he was. He had a really good game against the Nets the other night. He played out of his mind, but I don't know, man. It's just tough. It's real tough. I would give him, I guess, a B minus, C plus. He puts up a lot of stats, and it's not good enough stats to justify not the best defense, right? I really like RJ Hampton. I have a New Zealand Breakers jersey of his when he was playing overseas there. If he has like an 8th or 9th man coming off the bench, I wouldn't mind it. I think that could kind of work. He's only like not a minimum deal, but like a mid-level exception type deal, like a 5 or 6 mil. I don't think it'd be the worst. Corey Joseph, great backup point guard, tank commander. Real good backup point guard, made a ton of money in his career. Solid guy. I mean, a pretty good role model, I would imagine. Again, bring him back on like a veteran deal, I would not complain. Isaiah Livers, he's done his thing. He's just finally stayed healthy, I guess, for a season. Gotten a lot more play down the stretch of the season. I would still put him at a C plus, B minus. I really wanted to see more from him. It was unfortunate to see how he played. Because I know he's got it in him. As a Michigan fan, of course, back with John Beilein now, I think he should be playing better. But it's just not really how it's working right now, unfortunately. But I feel like that hopefully he's got another year or two in his deal. I don't really know how that deal works with the second-round picks, but I would like to see if he continues on. And then Rodney McGruder, he's on the roster. I mean, C minus. I mean, he just kind of is on the roster. I appreciate him doing his thing, but what do you really say? And then the rest of the guys are G League or swingman guys that don't really play, so not really going to mention that. But yeah, that's kind of what I got for this video. Overall, really excited for the Pistons' future. Seriously, they got a ton of cap space. They've got their own pick. They don't have a war chest of picks like they probably should at this point, but there's a lot to be done. Even if you get Wembanyama, do you take him? Do you take a billion picks to move down? I would say take Wembanyama. You'd probably get bullied off the internet if you didn't. But yeah, I'm very excited for the Pistons offseason. I will do some draft coverage and stuff once the NFL season kind of winds down. And by winds down, I mean, the draft is over and things like that. And I'll get a playoff preview prediction out going on of things you've missed in the NBA this season, what's going on, a quick maybe 1 minute on each team, a little 30-minute video on that. And then maybe a podcast type deal with just me talking about the NBA and who I like for the futures of the finals. Right now, I like the Bucks a lot. But we'll see kind of how the matchups work out because, again, it's all about matchups, especially in the West because chaos over there. So thank you all for watching. Go Pistons, and we'll see you next time. Peace.